If you miss this message tonight, you might miss your moment. Not next week, not next year. Tonight, something is shifting in the spirit realm as you're hearing these words, and your life is about to change forever. But only if you catch this revelation before the night is over. Chosen one, there's a reason you're hearing this right now, a reason your spirit is drawn to it like a magnet. You've felt something different in the air. You've noticed the signs, the dreams, the synchronicities, the divine delays. It's not random. It's a setup, a divine one. And this right here is your confirmation. You've been waiting, praying, asking for clarity, for direction, for a sign that tells you it's your time. Well, here it is. The universe isn't just whispering anymore. It's screaming. God is alerting you. Wake up. Something is being released in this moment that you've been prepared for, whether you feel ready or not. You thought it would come quietly, that it would show up like a gentle knock on the door. But no, this is a call that shakes the ground you stand on. And it's happening tonight, right now. The reason you can't sleep, the reason your spirit feels stirred, the reason you can't explain why you've been emotional, sensitive, or suddenly focused. It's because heaven has scheduled a breakthrough for you. And this is the last reminder before it shows up. But here's the truth. Not everyone will receive it. Because this isn't about hearing. It's about responding. You've got to do more than listen. You've got to lean in. This is the kind of message that activates destinies. And if you let it pass you by, you might not get another moment like this for a long time. That's why it's urgent. That's why you can't delay. You're standing on the edge of a spiritual shift. That's why your life hasn't made sense lately. That's why people walked away, why doors closed, why things got quiet. It's not punishment, it's positioning. God was removing distractions, stripping away illusions, so you could finally hear this message clearly. You've been prepared in silence for what's about to be revealed in power. You've cried for this, fasted for this, stayed loyal to your purpose while the world called you crazy. And now it's being answered. Tonight. But you can't walk into this next season with yesterday's mindset. You must shift now, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, because the level God is calling you to will require a new version of you, not a fake, polished version, but a raw, real, refined soul that knows who they are and who they belong to. This is your wake-up call, not just to purpose, but to identity. You're not average. You're not forgotten. You're not broken. You're chosen. And when a chosen one misses their moment, the cost is spiritual delay. But you're not going to miss it, not this time, because your ears are open now. Your soul is tuned in. Your heart is beating in alignment with divine timing. And this message isn't just hype, it's prophetic. Chosen one, your gift is needed. Your presence is powerful. Your words, your ideas, your energy, it all matters. And the enemy has been attacking you so relentlessly because he knows what's about to be birthed from your life. But you can't go into labor spiritually if you're asleep mentally. You must wake up. There is a window of opportunity being opened tonight, a window that only comes when you're aligned. And you are. That's why you're here. That's why you're still standing. That's why, after all the attacks, you're still breathing, still seeking truth, still reaching for more. You didn't come this far just to come this far. You were brought here for this exact moment of revelation. Every delay was divine protection. Every loss was strategic subtraction. Every closed door was a redirection. And now, the path is being cleared for what's about to enter. But if you hesitate, if you second guess, if you wait for another sign, you may miss it. This moment is time sensitive. God doesn't need time to bless you. He needs your obedience. And obedience starts with awareness, with understanding that this message didn't find you by mistake, that your name has been in rooms you've never entered, your future is being built behind the scenes, and the only thing missing is your yes. So here's the question. Are you ready to say yes? Not just with your lips but with your life. Because chosen ones don't just dream, they execute. They act. They step out in faith when it doesn't make sense. And right now, you're being invited to step into something greater than you imagined. You don't need all the answers. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need the courage to move, the boldness to believe, the spiritual ears to recognize when God is calling your name in the middle of the night. This is that moment. Your blessing isn't being held up. It's being held out, waiting for you to stretch your faith and grab it. But you must respond. You must align. You must believe that what you've carried in secret is about to be rewarded in public. You've suffered long enough. You've doubted yourself for too long. You've underestimated your power because you were surrounded by people who couldn't see your light, but they weren't meant to. God hid you for a reason. He preserved you, protected you, so that when you stepped into this moment, you would be pure, refined, and ready. Chosen one, don't miss this. Tonight is sacred. What you do after hearing this message could shift the course of your entire future. You've been positioned for breakthrough. You've been called for this season, and the heavens are open over you now. Are you ready to say yes? You've been asking for a sign, and this is it. This is not a coincidence. It's not just another message online. It's an alignment, a divine reminder that your life is not behind schedule, that everything you've gone through was necessary, that every rejection, every lonely night, every moment you felt unseen, unheard, and misunderstood was part of the design to activate your deeper purpose. Chosen one, there's something inside you that can't be replicated. You carry something rare. And deep down, you know it. That's why the world couldn't mold you. That's why you've always felt different. You weren't meant to blend in. You were meant to stand out, to awaken others, to disrupt patterns, to shift the atmosphere everywhere you go. And now heaven is calling you to remember who you are. Not who life told you to be. Not who pain shaped you into. But who you've always been at your core. The one with fire in your bones. The one with vision in your heart. The one who can feel what others ignore. That sensitivity you carry, it's not a weakness. It's a spiritual gift. A radar that picks up truth. That's why you feel so deeply. That's why you sense things before they happen. Because you were built as a vessel, not just a body. And tonight, that vessel is being filled. With power, with purpose, with clarity, with divine acceleration. You may not understand all the steps ahead, but you don't need to. What you need is trust. What you need is obedience. What you need is to stop waiting for someone else to confirm what your soul already knows. You've been chosen, and you know it. Even when you tried to run from it, you couldn't hide. Even when you gave up on yourself, the calling didn't lift. That's how you know it's real. This isn't a fantasy. This is your inheritance. And now, it's time to stop shrinking to fit places you've outgrown. Stop explaining your light to people committed to darkness. Stop holding back your truth out of fear of judgment. Your voice was meant to shake the earth, not whisper apologies. Tonight is not about waiting. It's about unlocking, awakening, activating. You've slept long enough. You've dimmed your fire long enough. But now is the hour you rise. This is the moment heaven has been preparing you for, and it's not going to come through a crowd of applause. It's going to come in your quiet decision to say yes to the divine plan, even when it makes no sense. This is your secret handshake with destiny. The world doesn't need another version of someone else. It needs you, fully you, bold, unapologetic, grounded in faith, walking in truth, radiating light. The enemy has tried to distract you with noise, with fear, with fake connections that drained your energy. But no more. Tonight marks the separation. Tonight marks the realignment. You're stepping into your assignment. You're stepping into the season where everything starts to make sense, not because it's perfect, but because you're aligned. Your spirit knows the path now. That's why you feel this surge, this trembling in your chest, this holy conviction rising. It's confirmation. You're not late. You're not lost. You're not broken. You're exactly where you need to be. And what's coming next will make the pain worth it. The clarity, the peace, the abundance, the opportunities. They're coming, and they'll find you not because you chased them, but because you became the person who attracts them. You don't have to beg for what belongs to you. You simply need to recognize that you're worthy of receiving. The shift you feel right now isn't anxiety. It's spiritual expansion. It's your soul preparing to hold more. More purpose, more power, more revelation. But for that to happen, something must break open. And that something is your belief. You've got to believe that this is real. You've got to believe that what you carry is valuable. That what God put in you has weight. You've got to believe you were made for more. The world has lied to you, told you to wait your turn, to shrink, to follow the crowd. But chosen ones don't follow. They lead. They create. They disrupt the patterns that hold people hostage. And the only reason it's been so hard is because you've been pushing against generations of fear, trauma, and spiritual sleep. But now, the curse breaks with you. The ceiling shatters with you. The silence ends with you. Your voice, your gifts, your life. It's all about to speak louder than your words ever could. Because when God marks a person, no man can stop what's coming. And beloved, you've been marked. You may have lost time. You may have taken detours, but you didn't miss your moment. In fact, this is your moment. Not tomorrow, not next year. Tonight. It's unfolding. Quietly, spiritually, powerfully. So don't scroll past this. Don't tune it out. Don't let your mind convince you this is just another message, because it's not. This is a holy assignment, and you're being reminded right now that your angels are active, your path is opening, and your future is being rewritten. You thought you were done, but God says you've barely begun. You thought the best days were behind you, but God says what's ahead will make the past look like a warm-up. You thought the wilderness would last forever, but God says the promised land is now in sight. Chosen one, stand tall, breathe deep, because something sacred is awakening inside you, and you're not crazy for feeling this. You're not weird for believing in something bigger. You're in tune. You're tapped in. You're ahead of your time. And soon, the world will catch up to what your soul already knows. But for now, all you need is one decision. Will you say yes? Not to me, not to a video, but to your higher calling, to your divine timeline, to the version of you that's been waiting patiently to come alive. You've been marked for something rare, something world-shifting, something legacy-building. But before it manifests around you, it must awaken within you. And that awakening, it begins tonight. You've waited long enough. You've questioned your worth long enough. You've tolerated environments that couldn't hold your frequency long enough. Now it's time to rise. Not tomorrow, not next year, but now. Because something powerful happens when you stop doubting and start declaring. Start declaring that you are enough, that you are powerful, that you are chosen, not because of perfection, but because of purpose. You didn't earn your calling. It was placed on you before you were even born. And every experience you've gone through, it was shaping you for this moment. Those betrayals, they taught you whom not to trust. That isolation, it taught you how to hear your own voice. The spiritual warfare, it revealed how powerful your presence really is. Because the enemy doesn't attack what isn't a threat. You've been targeted not because you're weak, but because you carry something that breaks chains. And now you're being called to use it. This isn't a time for hesitation. This is a time for bold movement. A time to break free from fear, to stop rehearsing your wounds and start stepping into your anointing. The world is desperate for truth right now, for light, for leadership, and the ones who will rise are not the loudest, but the most aligned. You know what alignment feels like. It's that peace that doesn't make sense, That moment when your spirit feels calm even when your mind is still catching up. It's that deep yes in your soul even when the world says no. And tonight, that alignment is being offered to you, but it requires something in return. It requires you to let go of the lie that you're too late. You're not late. You're in divine timing. You had to go through certain detours to prepare your spirit. You had to unlearn everything the world taught you so you could remember who you really are. You are not small. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are exactly where God needs you to be for what's coming next. But here's the truth most people avoid. Not everyone gets activated. Not everyone says yes. Not everyone chooses to walk through the door. Some stay in fear. Some stay in comfort. But chosen ones, they feel the pull and they move. Even when it's hard. Even when it doesn't make sense. Even when nobody claps. Because they know they weren't called to please. They were called to shift. To awaken. To disturb the false peace of systems that keep people asleep. And if you felt alone in this journey, it's because your path was never meant to be crowded. It was meant to be sacred. But the aloneness was temporary. You're not meant to do this forever by yourself. What's coming next will connect you with your soul tribe, with people who speak your language, who see you, feel you, honor you, not because you've proven yourself, but because they're on the same frequency. They've been through the same fire. They recognize your spirit, and when that happens, your life changes forever. Doors begin to open. Resources find you. You begin to create instead of chase. You begin to magnetize instead of beg. Because chosen ones don't chase, they attract by being in alignment with their truth. And your truth is rising now. Can you feel it? That stirring in your chest, that deep knowing in your gut, that's your spirit waking up. That's the divine saying, you're ready. And you don't need to have it all figured out. All you need to do is follow the light. Follow what feels honest, pure, expansive. Follow what brings peace to your spirit even when it scares your ego. That's the path. The shift is happening tonight because you've finally reached the tipping point. The place where your pain can no longer contain your power. The place where your excuses can no longer silence your evolution. You've arrived at the edge of a breakthrough, and the only thing left is the leap. You don't need permission. You don't need a perfect plan. You need to trust the pull. Trust what brought you here. Trust that everything is aligning for your highest good. Because it is. The angels are already working behind the scenes. The timing is already being prepared. And what you thought was a delay was actually divine protection. You weren't being held back. You were being hidden, preserved, covered, because your light is too precious to be exposed before its time. But now it's time. Time to step out of the old version of yourself. Time to release the self-doubt that never belonged to you. Time to stop waiting for signs and start being the sign. You are the evidence that God exists. That divine timing is real. That chosen ones rise no matter what. And every ounce of pain you endured, it will become your power. Every setback will become your story. Every no will make your yes that much louder. This is why you had to wait. Because what's coming is not small. It's generational. It's global. It's transformational. And it starts with you saying yes when no one's watching. Saying yes when your knees are shaking. Saying yes when your mind is doubting, but your soul is roaring. Because the truth is, no one can take this moment from you. Not the enemy. Not your past. Not your fear. Only you can choose to walk away. But if you're still listening, I know you won't. I know something inside you is saying, this is it. And you're right. This is the moment your life begins to shift. You won't regret this yes, but you will regret playing small. You will regret ignoring the call. You will regret pretending to be powerless when you were born with fire. So say yes, chosen one. Say yes with your whole being. Say yes tonight, and watch the heavens respond. You might not see it all yet, but the shift has already begun. Your energy is changing. Your thoughts are aligning. Your frequency is rising. And when your frequency rises, your reality has no choice but to match it. That's not a wish. That's a law. The law of resonance. What you are is what you draw. And you've been walking in a lower vibration too long. Surviving instead of thriving. Shrinking instead of soaring. But you're not meant to live like everyone else. You were designed for more. And that more begins the moment you stop lowering yourself to be accepted by people who were never assigned to you. The truth is, some people can't feel you because they aren't supposed to. They were only meant to witness you, not walk with you. They were part of your past, not your promise. And holding on to them is like trying to fit a thunderstorm in a teacup. It overflows, it spills, and eventually it breaks everything. Let it go, not in anger, but in truth. Let go so you can grow. Let go so you can breathe. Let go so you can finally rise into what you were born to become. Because chosen ones don't rise with clutter. They rise with clarity. And clarity is painful at first, because it reveals what you've been tolerating. It shows you where you've been compromising. It wakes you up from the dream that's been keeping you safe, but stuck. And that's why most people avoid it. But not you. You're listening now because your spirit is tired of lying to itself. You know you're meant for more. And that knowing is the spark that changes everything. When you lean into that knowing, you unlock doors no man can shut. You access power that isn't learned. It's remembered. Because this is a soul activation. This is not motivation. It's transformation. And you don't get here by chance. You get here by choosing to walk through fire when everyone else runs. You get here by holding your integrity when it's easier to sell out. You get here by following the voice within when the world screams outside. And now that you're here, don't you dare turn back. You're about to step into the season where things finally make sense, where your trials turn into testimonies, where your pain turns into platforms, where the nights you cried in silence become the foundation of your strength. But here's what no one tells you. It still won't be easy. Elevation requires endurance. Expansion demands shedding, and breakthrough brings battles. You will lose some people. You will lose some habits. You will lose some versions of yourself. But what you gain, peace that doesn't need proof, joy that doesn't need validation, purpose that wakes you up at 3 a.m. just to say thank you. That's the life you're stepping into. And to those watching from the outside, it'll look like it happened overnight. They'll think you just got lucky, that everything suddenly clicked. But you'll know the truth. You'll remember the nights you almost quit, the tears no one saw, the spiritual fights that left you on the floor, the inner work, the lonely walks, the sacrifices. You'll know it wasn't luck. It was obedience. Obedience to the whisper when everyone else was shouting. Obedience to healing when revenge felt easier. Obedience to God's voice when logic said it was impossible. And that obedience, it's what separates the chosen from the crowd. This moment right here is not random. Your soul brought you here. It aligned the timing, the words, the message. Because something within you is ready to burst through, and it can't be delayed anymore. You were not created to live a recycled life, repeating patterns, hiding your light, waiting for someone else to say go. You are the permission. You are the sign. You are the shift. You are the storm and the stillness, the fire and the calm, the roar and the whisper. And your presence alone is enough to change the energy of any room you walk into. You don't have to try. You just have to be. But first, you must remember. Remember who you were before the world told you who to be. Before trauma made you shrink. Before fear made you hide. Before rejection made you question your worth. That version of you, the original you, is still here, still alive, still waiting to be chosen again. And tonight, I dare you, choose yourself. Choose your calling. Choose your purpose. Choose your light, even when it scares you. Because the world doesn't need another copy of someone else. The world needs the real you. The authentic, unfiltered, spiritually awakened you. The one who leads with heart, who speaks with soul, who heals by simply existing. You're not here to prove anything. You're here to be something. A vessel, a voice, a vibration. Something bigger than the pain, bigger than the past, bigger than the lies that try to keep you small. And as you step forward in that energy, watch how things begin to shift. Watch how doors open. Watch how people begin to say, there's something different about you. Because there will be. There already is. The difference is you're no longer doubting. You're deciding. You're no longer asking for a seat at the table. You're building your own. You're no longer waiting for the right time. You've realized the right time. It's right now. Don't miss it. Don't second guess it. Don't shrink when you were born to shine. You're not crazy. You're called. You're not broken. You're birthing something new. And if you miss this moment tonight, the world will still turn, but your soul will know it turned without you. That's not what you want. You want alignment. You want overflow. You want the life that was meant for you, not the one you settled for. And now it's right in front of you. All you have to do is say yes. There's something sacred about this moment. You can feel it in your chest. That heat, that pull, that gentle but undeniable tug from the divine. It's not anxiety. It's activation. Your soul knows what's happening even if your mind doesn't have the words for it yet. You're waking up. You're shedding timelines that weren't yours. You're releasing expectations that were never meant to shape your destiny. This is what rising feels like. Not in noise, but in stillness. Not in the spotlight, but in the silence. And that's why most people miss it. Because they're looking for fireworks when the real miracles happen in whispers. You've been trained to believe that progress must be loud, that breakthrough must be obvious. But chosen ones, they shift quietly. And then one day, the world looks up, and there you are, unchained, unshaken, undeniable. Because the work you're doing right now, the healing, the releasing, the forgiving, that's the real magic. That's what separates you. That's what sets you up for a lifetime of alignment instead of a moment of applause. And let's be real, applause is cheap. Alignment is priceless. There are people living for the claps, the likes, the fame. But it's hollow. It doesn't feed the soul. You know that. That's why nothing temporary satisfies you anymore. Because your spirit was never designed for temporary. You were built for eternal. And tonight, something eternal is being unlocked in you. You're not chasing. You're attracting. You're not forcing. You're flowing. You're not begging. You're becoming. Can you feel the difference? It's the shift from survival to significance. From reaction to creation. From playing small to stepping fully into your spiritual authority. You've always had it, but now you're finally ready to use it. Let that sink in. You've always had the power, the strength, the clarity, the favor, but pain blinded you. Fear muted you. Doubt distracted you. Not anymore. Now your eyes are open. Your ears are tuned in. Your energy is ascending. And you're beginning to realize that most of the delays weren't denials. They were divine detours. They were protection. They were preparation. God was never saying no. He was saying not yet, because he needed the version of you that wouldn't fold when pressure came, the version that could carry the blessing without breaking under the weight. That version is here now. You've done the work. You've paid the price. You've stood in the fire and came out forged, not fragile. And now, the reward is chasing you. You won't have to strive for what's already yours. You just have to stand in it, own it, claim it, live it, because your purpose doesn't need permission. It just needs participation. And every time you say yes to your calling, something in the atmosphere shifts. Opportunities align. People show up. Ideas drop in. Doors swing open. Not because you forced them, but because you finally stepped into your divine rhythm. See, when you're in rhythm with God, There's no resistance, only results. You don't hustle, you harmonize. You don't stress, you surrender. And in that surrender, it is your superpower. That's what makes you dangerous to every lie ever told about you. Because you're not fighting for a seat at the table anymore. You are the table. You're not chasing love. You've become it. You're not begging for peace. You embody it. You're walking differently now, talking differently, thinking differently. And people will notice. Some will admire you. Some will misunderstand you. Some will try to re-enter your life, not because they've changed, but because they see that you have. Be discerning. This level of favor requires boundaries. This level of clarity demands solitude. This level of purpose demands precision. You can't take everyone with you, not because they're bad, but because they're not built for your next level. Let that be okay. Let growth be lonely sometimes. Let elevation separate you, because what's coming to you is too valuable to be contaminated, too sacred to be shared with just anyone. This is your inheritance, your moment, your divine reward. And the only thing that can block it now is you. Don't block your blessing with disbelief. Don't block your breakthrough with business. Don't block your rising with relationships that keep you rooted in old patterns. Tonight is a divine checkpoint, a soul reminder, a spiritual mirror. You've come too far to go back. You've grown too much to shrink again. You've been through too much to miss what's coming. So decide right now, this is your time. No more waiting. No more explaining. No more postponing your joy, your calling, your destiny. You're not behind. You're not late. You're exactly where you need to be. But you must choose. Will you rise or retreat? Because everything you desire is already here, waiting for your yes, waiting for your faith, waiting for your action, waiting for your obedience. And once you say yes, don't look back. Let the past stay buried. Let the fear stay behind. Let the doubt burn away. Because tonight, you're not just receiving a message, you're receiving a mantle, a new identity, a higher frequency, a deeper purpose, and with it, a responsibility to walk like the chosen one you are, to live like you've already won, to speak as though it's already done, because in the spirit, it is. This is your divine confirmation. This is your spiritual signature. This is your moment of sacred yes. So breathe it in, feel it fully, and get ready. Because from this night on, nothing will ever be the same. There's a ripple happening in the unseen realm right now, and it's all because of the decision you just made in your spirit. You didn't say it out loud. You didn't post it. You didn't announce it. But God heard it. The universe felt it. And everything around you is starting to respond to it. This is how divine acceleration begins, not with noise, but with internal alignment. You no longer need to prove yourself, because the evidence of who you are is about to show up in your results. You've planted in silence. Now the harvest will speak. What's crazy is how fast things will change when you finally let go of resistance. The opportunities that once passed you by, they'll come back around. But this time, you'll be ready. Not desperate, not anxious, not unsure. Ready. And your readiness is a magnet. See, when you walk in readiness, doors don't open out of pity. They open because you carry authority now. That authority doesn't come from a title or applause. It comes from surviving what should have broken you. It comes from walking through fire and choosing not to lose your soul. That kind of power isn't loud. It's lethal. And people can feel it. They won't know why they're drawn to you, why they trust you, why they want to follow your lead. But you'll know. It's not charisma. It's calling. It's not hype. It's healing. And it's unmistakable. That's why you had to go through what you went through. Not because you deserve the pain, but because you were being shaped for purpose. Every rejection refined you. Every setback sculpted you. Every delay deepened you. Chosen ones don't get shortcuts. They get sharpened. You were being sharpened in the shadows. And now, You're about to shine without even trying, not because you chased light, but because you became it. There's a boldness rising in you now, a courage that doesn't come from ego, but from revelation. You finally understand. You were never waiting on a blessing. The blessing was waiting on you, waiting on your belief, waiting on your surrender, waiting on your alignment. And now that you've made the shift internally, nothing can stop what's already been declared over your life. Not people, not timing, not even you. Because even the parts of you that used to sabotage your progress are being healed now. The doubt, the guilt, the fear of failure, it's all losing its grip. You're not who you used to be. That version of you served its purpose, but it can't come with you where you're going. So tonight, let it go. Let go of the false identities. Let go of the opinions that never mattered. Let go of the timelines that made you anxious. You are not late. You are not lacking. You are not behind. You are aligned. And when you're aligned, everything flows. That doesn't mean it's easy. It means it's right. It means the friction you feel now isn't resistance. It's refinement. You're being carved into who you were always meant to be. And that's why you've been uncomfortable lately. Not because something's wrong, but because something's awakening. Your vision, your voice, your vibration. You're operating on a new frequency, and the old things just don't fit anymore. You're not entertained by drama. You're not tempted by the temporary. You're not moved by distractions, because you've tasted purpose now. And once you taste it, you can't go back. You can't unsee what you've seen. You can't unlearn what your spirit knows. You can't settle for small when God has shown you glimpses of greatness. This isn't about ego. It's about obedience. You didn't ask for this calling. It chose you. You didn't force this assignment. It found you. And now it's time to step fully into it, with your whole heart, with your whole soul, with your whole spirit. No more tiptoeing. No more apologizing for your light. No more watering yourself down to make others comfortable. This is your breakout season, not because everything is perfect, but because you're finally present. You're finally available. You're finally surrendered. And surrendered souls are dangerous because they move with power that can't be explained. They speak with wisdom that can't be learned. They radiate peace that can't be faked. That's you now. You've crossed the threshold. And once you cross it, there's no going back. You may still have battles, but you'll fight differently. You may still face storms, but you'll walk through them with a stillness that shocks people. Because you know now, the storm isn't a sign that God abandoned you. It's a sign that you carry something worth attacking. But here's the truth they never tell you. The size of your storm is always proof of the size of your calling. So if the storm was heavy, that's because the assignment is massive. And the fact that you're still here, still breathing, still listening, still believing, means you've already won. The enemy threw his best shot, and it still wasn't enough to stop your destiny. You've already won, because you refused to give up. You've already won, because you chose healing over hatred. You've already won, because you kept going when everything told you to quit. That's what makes you chosen. Not perfection, but perseverance. Not applause, but anointing. Not status, but soul. And that's why the heavens are responding to you now. Because your spirit finally said yes. A full yes. A surrendered yes. An obedient yes. And that yes is unlocking doors that no man can shut. This isn't hype. It's holy. This isn't motivation. It's movement. This isn't just another message. It's your spiritual reminder that you are chosen, that you are ready, that you are rising. Right now, in real time. And nothing will be able to stop what God has already started in you. Look at how far you've come. Really look. Through betrayal, through heartbreak, through moments that tried to break you into pieces. And yet, here you are. Not only standing, but evolving. Not only breathing, but believing. Not only surviving, but rising. That's not luck. That's not chance. That's divine strategy. Every tear that hit your pillow wasn't wasted. Every sleepless night wasn't forgotten. Every prayer you whispered when no one was watching reached the heavens. And now, the response is coming. Not always the way you expected, but exactly the way you need. Because divine timing doesn't answer to the clocks of man. It answers to readiness. It answers to trust. And you, chosen one, are finally ready. The shift you feel in your soul right now, that's not anxiety. That's awakening. That's destiny taking shape in real time. This is your moment. And no, it doesn't feel like fireworks or grand celebrations. It feels quiet, holy, still, because sacred moments are rarely loud, but they are powerful and irreversible. You crossed over tonight into a new identity, into a new rhythm, into a version of yourself that you had only dreamed of, and you didn't force it. You flowed into it. That's what makes it real. That's what makes it sustainable. That's what makes it sacred. And now that you're here, you don't need permission anymore. You don't need validation from those who never saw you. You don't need confirmation from those who dismissed you. You don't need applause from the crowd you were never meant to entertain. You only need one thing: alignment. And you've got it now. You've got clarity. You've got purpose. You've got the fire that doesn't burn out. You're no longer running from your power. You're embodying it. And because of that, everything changes. Your energy will attract different rooms. Your vision will pull in divine connections. Your silence will intimidate those who thought you needed noise to matter. But that doesn't concern you anymore, because your peace is louder than their opinions. Your growth is louder than their gossip. Your mission is louder than their misunderstanding. You're not here to convince. You're here to be. Fully, authentically, boldly. And the right people, the ones assigned to your next season, will recognize you by your energy, by your presence, by your truth. That's how the chosen ones move. Quietly powerful, softly unstoppable, deeply impactful. And if it feels lonely right now, know this: the loneliness is temporary. The calling is forever. You weren't meant to fit in. You were meant to stand out. You weren't meant to blend. You were meant to blaze. You weren't meant to play it safe. You were meant to shift atmospheres. You feel different because you are. Chosen ones are always set apart until it's time to step in. And now is your time. Step in fully. Step in fearlessly. Step in with a heart that knows it's supported by heaven. Because everything is aligning, not just around you, but within you. Your thoughts are aligning with truth. Your habits are aligning with purpose. Your spirit is aligning with destiny. That's why the attacks got stronger recently, because you're nearing the breakthrough. That's why the pressure increased, because you're in spiritual labor. And what you're birthing isn't just for you, it's for generations. You're birthing healing. You're birthing wisdom. You're birthing legacy. This isn't about ego. This is about impact. Eternal impact. You didn't survive all that pain just to get a promotion or applause. You survived so you could carry something that others couldn't. And now you will. With grace. With humility. With unshakable power. Because you finally get it. The delays weren't denials. They were detours designed to build you. Every time it looked like it wasn't happening, it actually was, but in a deeper dimension. And now it's surfacing. The manifestation is coming, but it's not the goal, it's the byproduct. The true reward is who you've become along the way. Look at your resilience, your discernment, your peace. These are treasures that can't be stolen. This is your inheritance. And no man, no system, no fear can take it from you. You earned this moment, not through striving, but through surrender. You learned the hardest lesson. When you finally let go, you receive what's always been yours. And now you walk forward, with eyes wide open, with spirit on fire, with soul anchored in truth. The world is waiting for your sound, for your light, for your movement. So go. Move different. Speak different. Love different. Lead different. Not because you're better than anyone, but because you're becoming exactly who you were created to be. This is not the end.